Hey dude, what's up? Come here. I got some books for you. Guys, don't be reading. Statistically, that's not actually true. It turns out like over 70% of guys say that they read at least one book a year. However, in my life, dudes do not be reading. Not to say that I don't have friends that read, I do. But overwhelmingly, they don't. And of my friends that actually do read, about half of them strictly read nonfiction. Now, nothing against nonfiction. Okay, maybe a little bit against nonfiction. But for me, fiction is where it is at. Big ideas, amazing genres, amazing characters. And fiction is also where great writers come to show off what they're capable of. I love a good story, I love storytelling, I love creativity, and I love great art. And I feel like fiction is just where you can go to maybe expand your mind just a little bit. Grow your imagination, maybe form a new perspective. Also, it's just fun. What, do you not like fun? So I've got about 10 books here that I think are great for guys, for the dudes, for the fellas. Whether you're a guy looking to get into reading or just a guy looking for some book recs, these books are all perfect for dudes. Disclaimer. Just because I say that these books are for guys, that doesn't mean that no one else can read them. This isn't just exclusive to men and men only. Anyone and everybody should read these books. All of these books are essential reading, in my opinion. I just feel that a lot of these books speak to things that have a more masculine energy, if you want to call it that. Adventure, violence, fantasy, science fiction, dystopia, being a father. But all of them also offer a unique take or perspective on their specific genre. They have characters that are incredible standouts. Some of the greatest characters of all time come from some of these books. They all should give you at least something to think about. I labeled this list of books as being cliche. These are cliche selections. Cliche doesn't mean bad. In fact, some of these are some of my favorite books of all time, easily. I just mean that these are going to be the most obvious choices for guys to be reading, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. I promise you, if you read all of these, you're going to be probably the coolest guy you know. These will open up doors and new paths for you. Figure out what genres you like, what type of writing style is for you, the types of stories that you connect with the most, that get you excited about reading and want you to continue reading and, trying to catch the same high that you get after you read one of these. All I'm saying is these books can change your life. So let's go. The first book I have on this list is going to be Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This is a dystopian science fiction novel set in a near future where books are banned. The main character of this book is a fireman, and not somebody who comes and puts out fires, quite the opposite. Firemen are tasked with finding people who have possession of books, and they burn all of the books. Our main character becomes a little disillusioned with what he's doing, begins asking himself these questions of, well, why are these books banned? In this future, nobody reads books. They all basically watch TV. It's a bit more elaborate than that, but they all just watch TV. That's all they talk about. You get together with your friends and you just talk about the drama, the serialized drama that you just watched. Sound familiar? Our main character starts to collect books himself. He gets found out, and the whole book is him trying to conceal this fact and escape his impending doom at the hands of the state. I read this book for the first time like 2 years ago. I know for a lot of people this is required reading when you're younger, like junior high, high school. I think it's great. I just love the theme and idea of censorship and a state that is trying to prevent its people from consuming books and gaining new ideas and perspectives, and also of the main character who is questioning this state and questioning the rules and questioning that authority. Reading makes you a rebel. It's punk rock, man. This next book goes out to all of my gamer girls. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This is the only book on this list that I've kind of hesitated. I wasn't sure if I should put it on here or not, but ultimately I had to, because this is one of the books that I have recommended to a lot of my non-reading friends. They all read it and they all loved it. I just had a friend talk to me 2 weeks ago about this book. He read it like so long ago, but he was still talking to me about it. So that's how I knew. This story follows a kid in a near future, where most of the world's crap, another dystopian book. You don't really like to live in the real world, so you put on these VR goggles and haptic feedback things that takes you to a kind of a Matrix, or do you know the game Second Life? It's kind of like Second Life. You can be anything you want, go anywhere you want, any time period, all within this virtual world called the Oasis. The creator of the Oasis dies. When he dies, he leaves behind this competition, a bit of a scavenger hunt within the Oasis, and people can compete, and the winner will take over the Oasis. I remember this book being so fun. And just steeped in nostalgia, especially like 80s nostalgia. There's a ton of pop culture references from movies, video games, music. I really do think that this is a great starting point for guys who don't read or don't read fiction. It doesn't get much more fun than this. I remember really loving it, and it did absolutely set me down a path of wanting to read more, because if reading can be this fun, I want to do more of that. Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. You're probably familiar with the movie. This is the book that the movie was based off of. I'd say it follows it pretty closely, but I think there are enough key differences in it that the book stands on its own. It's definitely worth reading. This is for anybody who likes violence. I love violence. Who doesn't love violence? Punching, kicking, guns, explosions, pro wrestling. I love pro wrestling. Themes of masculinity, consumerism, capitalism, the soul-sucking nature of all of it combined, and beating the shit out of each other. It's a good one. I've read several other Chuck Palahniuk books. I'm not a huge fan of his work, but Fight Club is definitely worth reading. This is easily the best one of his that I've read. Super accessible. I really like this book. Ooh, hey, it's the next day. I got shit to do. Continuing on with our list, The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This is the classic tale of a Cuban fisherman who is way past his prime, who sets out one day into the ocean to try and catch a monster marlin, and the book just follows him as he does that and attempts to bring it back to shore. This is easily the shortest book out of all of these, so you really have no excuse not to read it. But it's also very good. I read this last year for the first time. I really enjoyed it. This might be the most like manly man guy's guy book out there. It deals with a lot of themes such as aging and obsession, perseverance, determination, and the culmination of all of those things. And in the end, is anything you do really worth it? This is a classic for a reason. It's short, sweet, but it packs a lot into it. It has a lot to say. Hemingway also, his writing is just very geared towards, I think, the male brain, at least mine. I enjoy his writing very much. This one is really straightforward. Some of his other writing is a little more exploratory. All dudes should be reading Hemingway, for sure. Next up, we've got 1984 by George Orwell. This book has been getting a lot of attention recently in the past decade for incredibly obvious reasons. I always kind of saw, all of the talk and people being like, we're living in 1984 as a bit exaggerated. But more recently, recent events have shown that it is true. I actually do kind of feel that way now. There's also a lot of parallels. Let's just talk about what the book is about, right? This is a book about a man living in a not too distant future, another dystopia. It's weird how dystopias are so important and essential. The country is run by the state, and at the top of that, Big Brother. Everything is surveilled down to people's thoughts. It is a wide-ranging amount of control over people, and anybody who falls out of that is locked away. So this is just all-out totalitarianism. This book has a lot to say about the surveillance state, propaganda, thought control, going to prison for things that you maybe haven't done. We're just merely thinking something against the state is a crime. All very scary things, all in some way a reality of the world that we live in now. And it's about one man kind of somewhat breaking out of that. And again, this is a book meant to inform you about the terrors of governments like this, to be wary of the state and the government, and to question it and to rebel against it. Reading is rebellion. Reading is punk rock, man. The Martian by Andy Weir. This is the story of an astronaut who is a part of a mission to Mars, and something goes horribly wrong. He is the sole survivor of this crew. So he sends out a distress signal back to Earth so they can come and get him. That's all fine and dandy, but he's got to survive until then. And he doesn't have a ton of resources and supplies. So he has to get crafty. And this book is all about how he does that. I've never read a book that made me feel as smart as this one did. I understand and have thought myself that science fiction can be a little daunting or a little off-putting because some authors just love to overdo it when it comes to the technology and explaining it and explaining the science to the point where it makes me feel stupid. I'm not smart. I'm dumb. You don't have to explain it at all. Just give me the basics, right? I don't need a full-on schematic of what this spaceship looks like and how it works. I know what a spaceship is. The Martian, however, and what Andy Weir does is he takes the same type of concept of being like, I would like to explain the science behind this. This man is a scientist, and puts it in a way that makes you feel like you are so smart and you understand everything and you feel like a fucking genius. It's also just fantastic. The main character is great. He's really sarcastic and funny while also being in this very dire survival situation. And just all of the things that he does, it's so interesting. It's so fun. It's so scary. One of the best books of probably the last 20 years, in my opinion. Yeah. Okay. Let's finish this up, shall we? What do we got here? Aha. The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is an incredibly cliche pick for dudes to be reading, but for good reason. You usually see The Hobbit or the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I chose to go with The Hobbit because it's a standalone, contained story. It's a prequel to the trilogy. Doesn't require a lot of your time. I do recommend reading those, but I think that The Hobbit is a better starting point. This is the story of a hobbit, a halfling, named Bilbo Baggins, who is visited by a wizard and a big old group of dwarves who have a plan to go to one of their old dwellings that's been taken over by a dragon who is guarding all this treasure. They want to take it back. And so they all go on this epic journey across this land called Middle-earth, and they get into all different types of hijinks on the way. It ends in a big fun battle and epic standoffs. Did I mention there's a dragon? This is the only book I have ever read more than once. Again, one of the many books on this list that got me into reading and made me love reading. And I think that it is just easy to digest. But also, this is, Tolkien invented modern fantasy. Without The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, you just don't have things like Game of Thrones. This is a very important work in the world of fantasy, and still great. Still to this day. This is awesome. Definitely worth your time reading. And who knows, maybe it'll open doors into other fantasy works and get you going. One of the few books on here that I actually don't have a physical copy for, but it's Call of the Wild by Jack London. This is the story of a dog named Buck who is kidnapped from his family, his home. He's a domestic dog, and he is sold as a sled dog in the Yukon. Completely out of his depth, out of his element, he has to learn not only how to get along with the men, the humans, but also with the dogs. These are two worlds that he needs to navigate and basically conquer to become a badass dog legend. Buck is awesome. He is amazing. Just a great character, and it's a dog. It's a dog. Another one of these books that I think a lot of people associate with like elementary school readers because it's kind of required reading for a lot of people. I read this book very recently for the first time and I fell in love with it. It is easily in the top 10 of my favorite books of all time. This book has to do with things like, you know, strength, determination, finding your place, fighting, violence. But I think that the theme that hit me the most and the one that I liked the most was dealing with Buck's more primal side. You know, he's a domesticated dog. He's somebody's pet that is now thrown into this world where those rules don't apply. Life is not kind. So you have to fight and bite your way to dominance over those around you. And so him tapping into those more primal instincts and learning to let himself go and be a little bit more of a savage. I really like that. I think it speaks to a lot of men. It speaks to me. Just a great story. It's a classic for a reason. I love Jack London's writing. I'm diving way more into it here in the future. He's quickly becoming one of my favorite writers. And yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I love this book. Well, yeehaw! Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. This is the epic Western tale of two former Texas Rangers who own a ranch, and they decide that, hey, why don't we drive our cattle up to Montana? It's still a pretty wild place, pretty untamed, but it's getting there. And if we can get up there first and set a ranch up, we'll be set for life. We'll be millionaires. So they get a team together and they drive these cattle up there. The story just follows them and members of their crew, people who are adjacent to them, as they make this trek that's very dangerous and deadly, and it's fantastic. This is a great book. One of the best like character work books that I've ever read. And I know you're getting scared. Do not let the size of this book intimidate you. It is great. It does not feel as long as it is. You will fall in love with pretty much every character or love to hate the rest. It's sad. It's emotional, it's pretty gnarly, and hard to read at times. This is definitely not a classic Western of like good guys and bad guys. It definitely taps into the brutality of the West and what people are capable of doing to each other, what the landscape and the environment does to people. It's so good. Yes. And a Western, I feel like people sleep on Westerns and they think Westerns are boring. This is anything but boring, and Westerns are fantastic. You should be reading more Westerns. Last one, probably the most cliche one on here, but I think it's for good reason. It's The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I think I've seen this on pretty much every single list that I've looked at of like books for men, books men should read. And it should be. I love this book. Love this book. This I think it is probably my favorite book of all time. This is another one of those books that got me into reading. And I felt like the story just spoke to me in this way that no other book really had at the time, and probably still doesn't. This is the story of a man and his son. The apocalypse has happened. The world has ended. We don't really know why or what happened. We just follow them as they are traversing this hellscape trying to survive. It is bleak. It is dirty. It is violent beyond all comprehension. The story of a father and son, and a father trying to protect his son in this world that, what's even the point, right? But you have to carry on. Forewarning for any of you dads out there. I have had friends who also have children who I've said, you've got to read The Road, and they come back and they say, hey, fuck you. I hated that book. I love that book, but I hated that book. This is not an easy read, but it is a fantastic read. McCarthy's writing is just amazing. I say it all the time. I feel like a broken record, but like it's just simple, but so effective and incredibly beautiful. And it just kind of opened my brain up and my mind up to what reading and what books can be. Not every book is academic. It can be exciting and dark and terrifying and brutal, but also full of love and emotion. This is the book I recommend to people probably more than any other book. And now I'm recommending it to you. Those are all my recommendations. Read all of these. That's your homework. Go and read all of these. When you finish one, come back here. Report back to me, soldier. Let me know what you thought. Again, if you're new here, pick any of these, read any of these books, start with any of them. I can almost guarantee you're going to have a great time, and hopefully it sets you down a path to get you reading all the time. If you already read and you're just looking for some recommendations, these are all great. And if you've been putting any of them off, stop it. Read them now, because I know that I did. And then when I finally got around to them, absolutely worth it. That's it. Bye.